When he had several promises to Bungoma residents, and what we want to hear from residents here to see what are they expecting from the visit of President William Ruto. And without saying much, let's engage them and hear what do they have according to President William Ruto's visit next week. That is Sunday. He will have an interdenominational service in Bungoma here and inspect several project on Monday. Tukianza na mkazi mmoja hapa. Kaka, kwa utangulizi wa majina, tueleze majina yako, mkazi wa wapi wewe, na utueleze ni nini hasa ambacho unatarajia kutoka kwa Rais William Ruto atakapozuru kaunti hii kuanzia siku ya Jumapili akuwe na maombi, vilevile siku ya Jumatatu akigagua miradi tofauti katika kaunti hii ya Bungoma.
Kwa majina naitwa Robert Vindani wa Majo. Ni mkaaji wa hapa Chwele bodaboda, former German wa stage ya Ruahaha. Na maoni yangu kulingana na president vile aka anakuja, tunatarajia kwamba hii barabara ya kwenda Ruahaha aweze kuongelea hiyo barabara, sababu imekuwa ile nyepamba sana. Kuna matransit zinatoka Ruahaha zinakuja Chwele. Tunaomba yeye aongelee kwa hiyo. Kitu cha pili, ningependa sana president akikuja Bungoma aongelee mambo ya Mumias, aongelee na mambo ya Nzoia. Hiyo mashini yetu itaweza kusaidia wakaaji wa Bungoma ili waweze kuandikwa kibarua zao. Kitu cha tatu, ningeomba president akikuja, sisi pia tuorganize kama bodaboda, tumpokee kwa hali ile kusherehekea, kwa sababu tuko na viongozi ambao tumetarajia na yeye. Asanteni sana.
Tupate mkazi mwingine hapa atuongeleshe. Kaka, kwa utangulizi wa majina, wewe kama mkazi wa Chwele, labda matarajio yako ni yepi kuhusiana na ziara yake Rais William Ruto hapa Bungoma?
Mimi kwa majina najulikana kama vile Herbert Muhindi na Mulata, mkazi wa Embakasi. Mimi matarajio yangu kwa rais wetu wa taifa la Kenya, tunamtarajia ndiye akuja, lakini kitu ambacho tunataka atufanyie ni kwamba hii njia yetu atupanulie, kwa sababu hii lami ilikuwa imeundwa kwa magari madogo na pikipiki, haikuwa imeundwa kwa matrela. Lakini matrela imekuja imefanya nini? Imeharibu barabara. Sasa akuja akilonji mashini zake, akuja alonji na hii barabara, wafanye nini? Wakaweze kuipanua ili uchumi wetu ukaweze kuendelea. Alafu sisi kama bodaboda atuwezeshe, atupe hata mradi wenye tunaweza tukajisaidia nao katika maisha, kwa sababu yeye ameona watu wenye wamesoma sana hadi wanadarau nini? Wanadarau bodaboda. Sasa nasi tupewe fursa katika serikali, tupewe fursa ya kufanya kitu fulani, kwa sababu sisi nasi ni binadamu kama wao, kwa sababu bila sisi wao hawangekuwa mahali penye wako. Sasa waweze kufanya nini? Kutupa fursa nasi tuweze kufanya jambo la maana, kwa sababu nasi tumesoma na tunaweza tukafanya jambo lenye linaweza kusaidia nini? Nchi yetu.
Rais William Ruto alikuwa na mpango mzuri wakati wake wa kampeni kwa wahudumu wa bodaboda. Je, wewe siku ya Jumapili ama Jumatatu ukipata ile nafasi ya kumuongelesha, ni lipi unaweza mwambia?
Mimi nitamwambia ukweli, kwa sababu wakati alikuwa kwa campaign alisema ataangalia bodaboda sana. Alisema ataangalia maslahi ya bodaboda, lakini alipoingia katika uongozi, saizi hizi bodaboda tunanyanyaswa. Ukienda town sahi ushuru imepanda, ukifika town ukiweka hapo pikipiki unaona wamefanya nini? Wameshika. Ukiweka hapo wameshika. Sasa tunajiuliza, alisema atatusaidia, alisema bottom up. Bottom up ni kuumizwa ama ni kufanywa nini?
Naam, shukrani. Tupate mkazi mwingine hapa karibia. Kaka, kwa utangulizi wa majina yako, tueleze Rais William Ruto anakuja Bungoma. Matarajio yako wewe kama mkazi wa Bungoma ni yepi kwake, na ujumbe wako kwake ni upi?
Kitu cha kwanza nitaanza kujitambulisha kwa majina. Naitwa Waliaula Mark, ni mkaaji wa Sirisia constituency, na ninataka kuchukua hii fursa kwa niaba ya mabodaboda kwa kushukuru sana kwa ajili ya Mheshimiwa Rais akiwa pamoja na Mheshimiwa wetu mbunge wa eneo la Sirisia Meja Waluke, wakati walishikana na wakatutengenezea hii barabara kutoka Chwele hadi Ruahaha. Tunasema ni heko, lakini barabara imekuwa nyepesi, imekuwa nyembamba na inatumika kwa ajili ya magari, madogo, na sasa tumekuwa na matrela na pikipiki. Kwa hivyo mambo ya matrela imesababisha tumekuwa na maafa mingi sana kwa ajili ya hili eneo, kwa ajili ya barabara ni nyembamba. Kwa hivyo tungeomba kwamba yule contractor ambaye atapewa hii kazi kwa kutengeneza hii barabara atupanulie hii barabara na tutengenezee barabara iliyo na ustadi sana, kwa ajili kuna migration huko Lwahaha. Kwa hivyo asante sana kwa ajili ya mipango ambayo watakuja kwa kutufanyia kama wakaaji wa Sirisia.
Swala la kilimo.
Swala la kilimo tunashukuru sana Mheshimiwa Rais kwa kututeremshia mbolea. Angalau tumekuwa na changamoto ya mvua, lakini kwa ajili ya chakula tuko nacho. Lakini ningeomba wakaaji wa Sirisia, Chwele na Bungoma County and large watu wasiuze chakula kwa bei duni, kwa vile sasa tumekuwa tukinunua mahindi kwa mfuko moja kwa kilo 2 kwa shilingi 240, na sasa tunaona mahindi inauzwa kwa gorogoro shilingi 70-60, ambapo hatuna ukame ya chakula haiko mingi. Kwa hivyo wakaaji wasiuze chakula, tuna ukame mbele.
Naam, shukran. Stanley, as you have had those just views or expectations from Bungoma County residents, and here in Bungoma, what is mostly expected is the revival of Nzoia Sugar Company and making sure that the stalled projects continue. Like we have had a long-term project like Misiho Brikidia Road, which is stalled for a long period of time. And with the President William Ruto's visit here in Bungoma, residents expect that the stalled project will have to be finished. For the likely program of the President William Ruto will be that on Sunday he will have interdenominational service at Wanjandege, and later on he will have a stakeholders meeting, that is political class and stakeholders, and later on Monday he will inspect projects like Nzoia Sugar Company, Misiho Brigidia Road, and other projects from here in Bungoma. That's all for now. Nyaringita, back to you. My name is Wanji Sostin.
Thank you for that, Wanji Sostin in Bungoma. He told me he's in Chwele market, and most definitely that is the one place that Fred Ndimuli quite knows well. He'll be telling us all the whole ins and outs. But then speak of matters, whole ins and outs, and even as Wanji was alluding to, the whole reviving sugar sector will be a key talking point on the 27th and 28th when the president will visit there. But from Bungoma, let's cross over to Nakuru County, and specifically in Naivasha, where Willie Dennis Njiru is. Willie, a very good morning to you. It is quite a pleasure to have you this particular morning. Can see it is quite sunny in Naivasha. Tell us, how are things today?
Thank you very much, my colleague Stanley Nyaringita, for the opportunity to bring into highlights to our viewers on developments around this place. Indeed, as you said, it's quite a sunny day here in Naivasha. We are blessed with sun rays that are good for replenishing our bodies and our bones, that is. But that aside, we have made tremendous steps in regard to the fight against illicit brews. You remember yesterday the Deputy President was categorical on issues on fighting alcoholism in the country, and he just declared his sentiments on all governors that any governor who will not be on the front fight against the illicit brew and the spread of this vice will not be in support of his quest in come 2027. Just yesterday, the police and the administration around here managed to nab 350 liters of ethanol that is used to make these brews. And from the reliable sources, they say at least 1 liter is able to make around 7 cartons. And you remember the small bottles are between 200 and 250 ml to 300 ml. And it's quite sad to see that you just need to mix the two, and then you have these very quick brews which are not actually good. And as we stand, the situation as it is as of now, we have, if my camera person could just pan around, the consignment is just inside there. And later in the day, we are going to have it destroyed, and that will be alongside some other a haul of consignment of bang that was seized in the same estate, that is Kayole, that is on the upper side of this town along the Nairobi-Naivasha highway. And the police around here have said that this quest is going to be going on in subsequent days to ensure that they curb this vice where young guys are actually languishing into the usage of this quick alcohol, which is presumed cheap, not having the standards of the cabs. And it has been a fight and a clarion call and a cry by women, parents, across the country to ensure that we fight these illicit brews. You remember, these brews have not had a standard test to ascertain their level of alcoholism. If you have, I know you have perhaps come across these bottles, and they always indicate the alcoholic volume. But instead, we have been having these bottles that have been used. Some people go and collect the bottles, waste bottles, used bottles, that is, from the streets, and then from that they are washed again, and we have these illicit drinks packaged inside with the percentage that is indicated in the bottle, which does not actually coincide with the actual levels of percentage of the alcoholism that is inside the bottle. And worst case scenario, how adversely it would affect one's health. You remember, humanity a human brain sorry, has millions of neurons, and every time you use drinks, this alcohol, you are destroying quite a fraction, the size maybe of a coin, of neurons that are fundamental for stability and how you make your speeches, how you are able to maneuver your staffs. And every time you take beer, these neurons are destroyed. That is why I would see sometimes somebody is just walking and there's no ditch, and then somebody will just be walking like you are making hoops and skips and staggering along the way, because you are destroying neurons that stabilize you actually. And again, you find some other people, you hold a cup and you're just shaking because you have destroyed part of your neurons that are very fundamental for your stability and your well-being. And then some other people, you'll find them talking sluggishly. For instance, Stanley Nyaringita, that sluggishness actually is just part of the destructions of the neurons. As much as it is said a little wine is good for your stomach and for the digestion, we must limit ourselves to the usage of these drugs, and perhaps this will also be adversely affecting the growth of our economy. Stanley, the government is up to task to ensure that these vices are brought to a halt, and if a consumer has to take brews, has to take standard brews, and which have gone through all measures to ensure that they are fit and good for human consumption. This is part of the stories that we will be bringing up to you, to our viewers later on this day in other subsequent bulletin. But from me here in Naivasha, I will take it back to you in studio.
All right, thank you, Willie Dennis Njiru. Quite a whole elaborate, even biology class. He says a little wine is not really too bad for your stomach. But anyway, let's take a look at what is in the county diary, and just a whole reminder before we even have a whole diary with Apollo Kamau, who is in studio. In the county diary this morning, we do expect to have President William Ruto to attend the Maasai Cultural Festival at Sekenani Gate, Masai Mara. This is ahead of his 5-day visit of the North Rift region, which begins tomorrow. And Kenyans will now be required to pay for Kenya Wildlife Service, that is KWS, through the eCitizen platform, following the integration of payment for all government services effective today. Away from that, into other matters, climate change. Pardon me. IGAD Climate Prediction and Application Center ISPAC is organizing the 65th Greater Horn of Africa Climate Outlook Forum, GHACOF 65, for the October to December 2023 season on 22nd August, which is today in Nairobi, Kenya. And away from that, matters copyright, the whole exchange forum between Kenya and also Germany. Kenya Copyright Board and German International Corporation will be holding an exchange forum for creatives on August 22nd. The theme of this forum is the economic value of copyright in music and digital creative industries, and not what you're actually seeing on that. That is a different matter, matters data protection. And can also take a look at Today in History before I invite Apollo Kamau with me here. It matters Today in History. Mzee Jomo passed on in 1978 in the Coast region, and internationally the organization de l'Armée, as OAS, attempted to assassinate the then French president Charles de Gaulle while he was riding to the airport with his wife. I'll be updating you on this particular diary and others in a brief. But then I do have with me here Apollo Kamau. Good morning.
Good morning, Stanley.
Salama.
Niko salama.
We normally have you, in the field. Welcome to Studios Leo.
Thank you so much. It's a new experience. I'm a field guy, but I'm happy to join you here today.
What do you expect today in the newsroom?
There's a lot in tray. There's a lot. The intro is full. We have President William Ruto, just like you said, in Narok for the Maa Cultural Festival.
Right.
And this is a big event for the Maa community. It also sets the tone for his 5-day North Rift tour, which kicks off tomorrow. This is his first after Mount Kenya. Remember, Mount Kenya is one of his key support base. The North Rift and the larger Rift Valley is also his key base. This is actually his backyard, and he will be going there as a Thanksgiving tour, and also to set the agenda straight for people in the region. The issue of farmers, as you know, the issue of fertilizer is very key. A bumper harvest is expected soon, and therefore this is just to consolidate and show up support, and also sort of deepen his agenda for the North Rift, given it's a farming region, and therefore this is a very crucial week for him.
How different will it be looking at the Mount Kenya tour and now the North Rift tour? Looking at both, how different will this one be?
I think in terms of politics, if you look at Mount Kenya, there was a lot of heat, first given the way the transition took place from the former president to the current administration, and also given the tug of war in the Mount Kenya region on who exactly is supposed to be the region's kingpin. Right. Remember the place of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Yeah. There are also other leaders angling on the sidelines. But like we saw during the Sagana meeting, the Deputy President said the President is the de facto leader of the region, politically speaking. Okay. But if you look at the North Rift and Mount Kenya, if you look at the issue of farmers, they almost share the same similarities, because there's the issue of maize, the issue of fertilizer, the issue of milk. They do share that. Yes. But also the North Rift, there isn't much as far as politically speaking is concerned, because there's no dissent in that region. Okay. This is his backyard, so he's going home to consolidate and to deepen his agenda. Right. Yes.
Away from matters in the Maa Festival and in Masai Mara, what else do you expect?
There is a lot. Remember the if I may call it infamous, or the popular court case now that we have, which is about to begin, the Mathe Wangara, who is Nancy Kigunzu, who was arrested in the wake of that drug bust in Ngara. This is a case we are following today. She's expected to be arraigned today, in the wake of her arrest yesterday. And apart from that, it's also busy at the top there. We have the second lady, Dorcas Rigathi.
Right.
She is continuing with her agenda of HIV drug sensitization.
Okay.
She continues with the agenda today, meeting religious leaders and other key stakeholders.
Right.
It's also something we are following for the health docket. And also we have in sports, if I may venture into that area, though it's not my domain, we have the national women's volleyball side, Malkia Strikers, who are facing off Nigeria in the ongoing CAVB African Nations Championship. So as far as the diary is concerned, that's how it goes. But if you look at this week, especially looking at the bipartisan talks.
I was actually coming there because, I mean, that's for today.
Yes.
Now, on Friday, we really expect to see the technical committees expected to file the draft to Azimio leader Raila Odinga and President William Ruto by Friday. Yesterday, I know you're following up on how everything was going down. Brief us on that. What stood out for you during the talks yesterday and now this whole entire week? What do we expect to actually see?
I think what stood out was this show of unity, show of defiance against naysayers, given what we have seen, starting with Kiharu MP Didi Nyoro in Kiharu over the weekend, calling for the end of the talks. We also heard Beere North MP talking about the same in an event where the Attorney General attended yesterday, where he was saying the AG should advise the president to call off the talks, because the talks, as far as they are concerned, the Kenya Kwanza hardliners, they are meant to prop up Odinga for what he wants, his interests. So for them, they should not be taking place. And that's why he is saying he's going to move amendments to the Elections Act, some key sections of the Act, Section 24 and 44, I think, to make sure that the issue of ballot voting, instead of people casting the ballot, your ballot is just scanned. And he says the exercise that we have been having has paved the way for this kind of chaos or political chaos, disputes we normally see after every election. So for the bipartisan team, going back to the team, there was a show of unity. Now they have mandated the technical committee to look into the issues, and the issues they are looking into, the very first key issue, given the talks haven't begun, is the issue of harmonizing the agenda between the two sides, because Kenya Kwanza have their issues. If you look at the issue of elections, it's very divisive between the two sides. Kenya Kwanza says there's no need of revisiting the issue of the opening of the server or audit of the elections. And the president kicked off the debate even last week when he was in Uasin Gishu for the devolution conference. He said they should forget about revisiting elections 1 year on. It's already gone. But this is the tough assignment before Friday. And remember, this technical committee headed by Muthomi Thiankolu on the Kenya Kwanza side and Jeremiah Kioni on the Azimio side, they have to come up with a report to be presented before the whole National Dialogue Committee on Friday.
And for this second year, we've seen timelines being sent. We did see Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, when the month was starting, saying that the talks should have begun and they should have been concluded by the 30th. Right now, we're seeing they're being told that by Friday. How essential are these timelines, really?
We had Kimani Ichung'wah speaking about that yesterday, and he did say, given the talks are yet to formally kick off officially, the 60 days deadline is yet to start counting. Remember, the agenda is yet to be harmonized. So once they start deliberating on the issues, the agenda, that's when now the timelines kick in. So looking at it and where we are, heading towards September, they can still make it. It depends with the positions they take. If they continue to harden their positions, the longer it will take. And it will also affect the October outcome they do expect to have. Yes.
Thank you very much, Apollo Komau. We definitely have to see you another time as you brief us, even after this particular talks and maybe even after Friday next week, just briefing us on the whole outcome of these talks. Asante sana. And most definitely, now we're due a short break. Remember, you're watching Morning Cafe as we update you on matters, what is happening in the counties. We'll also be taking a look at what is happening even internationally. Zimbabwe is set to go for the polls tomorrow. Stick around for more of those details. B47. Now, it is a system of education that is associated with the rich in big cities. But in Samburu, Montessori system of education has been introduced to the pastoralist community. And it is already causing ripple effects, upsetting the nomadic lifestyle, but one that is welcomed. Here is Sharon Baranga with the story.
At the foothills of Wamba in Samburu County, a story is being rewritten for a pastoralist community that has often been lagging behind on development issues owing to the fact that a number of children have difficulties accessing education. A program that is set to impact the lives of children in this county positively has been rolled out, and it is only a matter of time and the community here will begin to reap fruits from the one-of-a-kind education program being offered to the children. Pupils at Lengusaka Montessori School are being exposed to a system of education that is synonymous with the affluent in the country. A system of education that will definitely become a game changer in the lives of the pastoralist community. The schools are known as nomadic schools or migratory schools.
This is a situation where, the lifestyle of a pastoralist is movement from one place to another in search of water and pasture. So before this idea of migratory school was initiated, when a family would move from, let's say, from Baragoi to Wamba, for example, a child stops going to school. But through the partnership of the county government and the community, we have migratory schools. This is where we station a teacher within a particular region. So when the people in that region move, they move with the children. So in those schools, we don't have permanent structures. We have makeshift classes where children learn for the time they are there. Then they move with their parents and with their teacher. So after that, they will still come back to their original home where there are structures. Then they go to that class and use it again. So that is an approach that is working well for a nomadic community. And we have tested it in Samburu and it's working for us. We have other partners that have joined the county government to continue with that approach. In Wamba, for example, we have a conservancy called Sarara, and this is they already have 3 schools they've adopted. So children move with the teachers, with their families to wherever they go in search of pasture and water. So when they put their camp there, the teacher also puts a makeshift class, and then they continue on and on like that. And so that ensures continuity of education. And so there is no break. Because you can imagine if a child breaks for, let's say, 3 months or 6 months, that is a child you would not move to the next grade. You would have to retain him in the same grade.
The reason why we started this course is because as a foundation we saw the need. We have been seeing so many pastoral kids walking around, having small livestock, and without opportunity of getting any education, or maybe an opportunity to go to school. So that motivated us to start the Montessori school system.
The numbers are 1, 2, 5, 9.
Montessori is a method of education that is based on self-directed activity, hands-on learning, and collaborative play. In Montessori classrooms, children make creative choices in their learning, while the classroom and the highly trained teacher offer age-appropriate activities to guide the process. Judy Mogambi has been at the core of establishing the Montessori schools in Samburu. With over 25 years working with children, her responsibilities are supervising the setting up of the schools, as well as ensuring teachers are well trained before moving to another remote area to repeat the process.
I came to Samburu when I didn't know it could happen, but because it was just in the interior, where we found the children they can't access schools. And then after doing a lot of assessments, we saw that we can use tents and start with our materials because they are movable and the tents are movable. The nomadics, when they go here, we just follow them. We started like piloting them, and they were very much interested with our activities. And we started with 4 teachers. We were 4. 2 males and 2 ladies. And then we started 2 schools in the interior, in the bush, where children could not get any school. And the children, the parents were very happy, and the Montessori worked there. And then later, our children could adapt the Montessori method.
This migratory school is like an incubation center for us. You see, ideally, a pastoralist child would not have the hope to get into school when they get to a certain age. So most of the time, the best place they can graduate to is to go and herd. So this becomes an avenue to motivate children to go to school. So what happens, once we enroll them in the migratory school, they continue to do their normal herding work during the day. And sometimes when they come back in the evening, they get to school. Then they study for a certain number of hours. Sometimes when the livestock come closer to home, before the sun sets, the parents usually go to meet the cows and the livestock. So the children get a chance to come home. So when they come home, they start school. So that way, they study for a certain period of time. When they are ready to go to boarding school, then we remove them from the community. We encourage them to go to boarding schools. Others go to stay with their relatives in a mainstream primary school. And so that has contributed to increased enrollment in schools in Samburu County. And this is something that we want to continue doing because, one, it doesn't threaten the lifestyle of the Samburu child. They will continue doing herding.
Discipline, responsibility, and being organized are skills being instilled in the young children. The schools target children under the age of 6.
So why are you targeting children 6 years and
Okay, in 6 years to come, currently we have not trained our teachers to go to another level. We call it elementary. But we are hoping to do it next year, to take our maybe 3 teachers to go and train another level, because this is a continuation of another level. All the materials will continue in another level. That's why our plan in future is to put another class in the 3 schools, so that our children will continue with our Montessori method. In Montessori school, we have activities whereby we practice children to gain independence, to gain independence and patience. And also, so we have order of materials. Also, we start with the area called practical life. And practical life is our daily activities. And in the daily activities, there is pouring, where we pour grains jug to jug. So the child can see that this jug is empty. And that's where we create the child we develop the child mathematical mind of putting things in an empty thing and then pouring in another empty thing. And then the grains spill out, the child can just pick with the 3 pincer grips to practice them how to hold a pen in future. Those are the activity which help the child to write. Again, we have opening and closing boxes, where the child can open the box and then close it in order with beautiful boxes and different size. Then we have screwing and unscrewing bottles, where the child can unscrew the bottle with the motor fingers and then close it. So we are also helping the child, the muscles to be strong and to hold a pen. And in our basic training is where that you put 5 children in a group and you teach them how to blow nose. So the child will know how to blow their nose. The child will know how to cough. The child will know how to sneeze. And the child will know how to excuse oneself. So the child, when the child passes, he will not collide with the other children. Excuse me, may I pass? So we have that. That is a discipline. And then we have organized ourselves. When the children come in the morning, we work in 3-hour cycle. The children are doing different activities and free of choice. You can choose, provided you guide them. And then at the same time, the children are taking porridge. Maybe 3 or 2 children can go to the snack table, put porridge for themselves. And then their children are working, and that teaches children patience. So the other children will be patient. So, and they wash the cup and put it ready for another person. And then when the child does a material somewhere, he has to place where he found the material. and place it in order so that the other child will come put it clearly. And then when the child, we work with maths, mostly we don't work in chairs, although we work with their activities in tables, for example, writing. But when we work in the maths, the child has to take a bucket, a duster, and put water and dust the mat and clockwise from left to right. And that teaches the child how to write in a book. And then clean the mat well, and then go and pour the water in a tray and wash the duster and make it in a lined cloth, and then come and take a material and work in a clean mat. And then later, the child will roll the mat and place the mat where it was. Within the Samburu community, we just follow the culture. And the Montessori materials, mostly they are culture. We use the culture, so we use what is available there. For example, if we use a mat, a Samburu carries their mats when they go to sleep, and they roll them. And that's how we teach our children how to roll a mat and to unroll it. We also teach our children how to dress, and that's why their uniform, they are cultural. That's how their women dress and how their boys dress. So the materials we have in Montessori, most of them, they are cultural. They are cultural. We use what is available. We can't use something maybe from London. For example, when they like making beads, and in our mathematics, we do count with beads. So the children are very interested in beads. We can make multiplication with beads, we can make addition. The 4 areas of mathematics we can make with beads. And then we can also make balls of beads. Some of the materials, that area we call it sensorial. And in that area we have an activity called sound bottles, whereby you put different items like salt, sugar, grains, stones, sand, and if you shake, it has a different sound. So when we teach children to detect different sounds, is it low or is it high, like that, and then it helps us to detect a child who has problems in ears. So because the child will not recognize the sound, he will not know that this is low or this is high. That time we detect that child has problem of ears, and so we take the child further, or we call the parent to look at the child, or we call our health team to look at our children.
Judy says academically, the progress of children attending these schools in comparison to their counterparts in public schools is noticeable. Mostly, this type of education is found in high-end private schools, but now it has been made available in Samburu and parents do not pay school fees.
When we take our children to the next, maybe to grade 1, the school principals are very happy, or the headmasters, and they promote them to go to other grades because they learn more than what they have more than what is there in their schools. And currently we are hoping to open another school in the interior, because I always work with the teachers, and then when the school is able to stand, I leave the teachers and then I go and start another school. So I'm going to start another area where they are nomadic and there's no school. So we always help children where there are no schools. Yeah, we don't work where there are schools.
The schools are known as migratory or nomadic schools because the structures are temporary.
The kind of system that we are running, we set it in a way that it can be moved from one point to another point, given the nature of our community, that they keep moving from one point to another point in search of water and pasture. So we have designed our schools. If you look at them, they are tented. They can be rolled it out or maybe brought down and move with the community to any area that maybe the community is moving to. The kids, we also train the kids to be able to enable them even participate in rolling the mats. So it is designed in a way that it can be moved from one point to another point. And also the system that we are using is culturally relevant to the community because, as you know, the communities also use skins or hides as their bedding. So the masks the kids are using are designed in the same way so that maybe the kids are trained on rolling them and moving up with them, and they do it themselves.
A peculiar observation that will capture your eye when you visit this school is the difference in their school uniforms, and here is why.
In Montessori, we don't want the kids to be like a conditioning, that they should be the same, or children should wear the same uniform. And again, if you look at the kids, all of them are different. They differ from one another in terms of behavior and character. So, but putting them in the same uniform, they feel that they should be the same. They should be equal. So it also enables them to grow or maybe to mature.
It is old people who are now herding livestock, and so bandits take advantage because there is no. I mean, there are no warriors in the village to chase them away or fight them back. So that is why you hear constant attacks in places like Poro, places like Losuk, because these guys are coming to find old people because the warriors are in school. So I wish some of our neighbors would take their children to school so that it is only old people who are herding. Because you can't imagine an old man organizing a raid to go and attack some people, some neighbors. They will just take care of what they have. So we want to encourage our neighbors that let's take children to school. That is one way of destroying this vice of cattle rustling and loss of lives.
Even though these schools have been embraced and at the same time opened up the community to education, there are challenges learners and teachers go through.
Most challenges we have is that when the droughts are there, so we can't access water. It's very hard to get water. And again, like for example in this school, as you can see, it is not fenced. So when it is not fenced, all the cattle, the cows, the camels come to drink in this river near us, and it's from all over the Samburu County. So there are so many people around, and that's why they can pass in near the school and disturb children maybe, because sometimes they don't understand that the school has to be left alone. So another challenge is the population of children. Wherever we go, for example, in this school, it has a large population. And so we are hoping to get another class so that we can separate our children, because a teacher has to work with only that children in Montessori, because you have to look at the children one at a time. Yeah.
How many children do you have?
Currently we have 70 children in one tent, but I hope the organization is planning to bring another tent so that we can separate and have 2 classes before even we go to another level.
The kids that have gone through the schools with the current even enrollment is about 500 kids that have gone through the system. And the community is already seeing the benefits, and the main challenge we have now is that the numbers are going up all the time because they have seen the need, they have seen the benefits of the system. The system targets children under 6. So after 6, then what next? Where the kids will go? In most cases, they go back to the public schools, government schools, and you'll find that the teachers in those schools they don't know how to handle such kinds of CBC or education, and that's why you'll find them maybe making the children jump the stages or maybe jump the classes because they are superior than the children within the public schools. So as a foundation, we have plans to start elementary, possibly next year, so that maybe we have grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3, so that when the children are above 12 years, then they can easily go to boarding schools.
We are going to even increase it more because our the county government right now, with the help of our governor, is so passionate about education. So these schools will increase. and under my watch and my support, I will make sure that no Samburu child in Samburu County breaks from school.
Lengusaka Montessori School is among 3 nomadic schools set up in Samburu East by the Sarara Foundation. They have plans of setting up 10 more schools like this just to help the community access education. Sharon Baranga, TV47 in the county of Samburu.
I'd much appreciated for that, Sharon Baranga. And just briefly to update you, what else is expected to happen today in Kenya? We expect to see TSC meeting teachers' unions for the whole salary review talks. They'll meet KUPPET, not KUSNET, over the whole salary reviews at Kenya School of Government. And across the borders, Zimbabweans expected to head to polls Wednesday to choose president among other leaders. 11 candidates are vying for the top position. And incumbent President Emmerson Mnangagwa is also seeking to be re-elected. The main candidates are Mnangagwa and Nelson Chamisa. So definitely expect a whole heated politics in Zimbabwe today, even as they prepare for the polls tomorrow. And definitely Zimbabwe might be one country that they'll be looking at. Kenya, for example. How did they go to the polls? How was their electoral system? An interesting time for them today.
Well, interesting to look at Kenya, but not sure we are the perfect example.
1 year later, we're still talking about talking.
Yes, we are still yet to agree on what we should have agreed on last year around this time. Well,
we can agree one thing right now, though.
Yeah, but we need to end the show now.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for keeping us company throughout the show. I leave you with this African proverb: no matter how hot your anger may be, it cannot cook beans. Let's do this again tomorrow morning. My name is Freddie Ndimuli.
Interesting. And I'm Flora Limuki. Just in case you need some wisdom, look at my Twitter page at Limuki_F. A quote there to start.